Oh my god, baby, it's a Weekend at Bernie's. What's the deal with Weekend at Bernie's? Ville. Weekend at Bernie's is a classic. Everybody knows about Bernie Lomax dying. So when he dies, his two employees drag him around the Hamptons to party and do all this crazy stuff. And it's been referenced in a ton of things. And everyone knows about Weekend at Bernie's, the dead bodies being dragged around and stuff. But my $1 million question is this. When did the two main characters clean up the duty and piss Bernie did when he died? Now, if you watch Weekend at Bernie's, he wants those two boys killed. And he has his hitman, and he has the expectation that he's going to kill the two boys. However, in a wacky turn of events, the hitman winds up murdering Bernie Lomax. He kills him. Bernie Lomax is dead, and that is what, kind of sets up the whole movie. So once Bernie dies, then the two boys come in, they just think he's just casually hanging out. But then they realize this guy's dead. And, they're in the room about like 3 minutes. If I was a police detective, I would say, hey, guys, that's 3 minutes. You could have been calling us. They don't. They're kind of freaking out like anyone would. And before the boys could do anything, all of the Hampton neighbors come for Bernie Lomax's weekly weekend bash. And the craziest thing to me is that no one notices that Bernie's dead. And I get it. You could say they were partying their faces off and they were all loaded and drunk. And I'll tell you what, I've gotten hammered, blackout, drunk plenty. And let me tell you this. If someone has shit themselves, I will notice, blackout or not. And I always notice when I shit myself. And I do the courteous thing and I leave. Alright? Now, this is where it gets tricky. Because also keep in mind, Bernie is wearing, light pants. Maybe a light gray to a white. Maybe even a beige if you're really looking. And let me tell you, I don't see any piss and shit. Maybe they got there before the pee and poo happened. That is totally possible. And I know death is a touchy subject, and I'm sorry. And I know it's, I've got my own things with it. So, in the case of Bernie Lomax, I'm trying to figure out when, or even if, the two main characters cleaned up Bernie Lomax. And even worse of all, Vito's girlfriend, by the way, Vito. So this is a very complicated plot. So it's Vito. So after the boys discover the fraud that has been committed at Lomax's financial firm, that is why Bernie Lomax wants him killed in the first place. In a turn of events, Vito actually orders Bernie to be killed because Bernie's been having sex with his girlfriend Tina. Alright, now that's really important for this whole discussion. I'll tell you why. Because later on, Tina comes after Bernie's already dead. And this movie is raunchy 80s teen comedy. This woman has sex with a dead body, the corpse of Bernie Lomax. You can't make this up. I thought this was a raunchy teen comedy. It sounds like something out of Friday the 13th.
Oh, hi.
One.
It's like, my God, is this a horror flick or a comedy? She's having sex with a dead body. And sure, whatever. All that aside, that is crazy. I cannot believe that they put that in the movie. That is just grotesque. But that also begs the question. Did Tina notice the pee and poo sloshing around in his dead body pants before they had sex? Now, this might be the case, and we might have an answer that it was Tina who cleaned up the pee and poo that was obviously in Bernie's dead body pants. But the worst thing is like throughout the movie they're there for a whole weekend, and he doesn't change his clothes. Which means, I don't think, at the even if Tina is like an absolute disgusting, like wretched woman who with the depravity of a crazy lunatic, even if she licked up the excrement, and I don't even want to say it because I know how gross it is, but if she cleaned it up with like some kind of mouth job, then she is just one. And then I think Vito's, good that she's having sex with someone else, because she seems like a little, unless Vito's into it, then this is a bigger conversation. But other than that, aside from all that, let me tell you this. There is no shot there. I don't know. I'm at such a loss for words. So I think we can draw a conclusion. The two main characters did not clean Bernie Lomax's duty and pee after he died. It is possible, it seems, that Tina might be the one responsible for cleaning that up. However, that is really, up for discussion, given the fact that she did have sex with a corpse and didn't realize he was dead. So her perception is definitely up for debate. But you know what? It's like maybe some of the pee and poo got on her during their intimacy, and perhaps that was enough to get it off his body. But the most tragic part of this whole thing is that Bernie Lomax was in the same clothes he died in the whole weekend, meaning he had poo and pee remnants in his pants. I know, I've shit myself before. I've even pissed myself. And I'll tell you this, there is a scent, there is an odor, and it doesn't go away that easily. No matter how much you're running. If anything, running around probably makes it a lot worse. And so, I just think it's important for us to all be on the same page. And, this is just a crazy movie, period. And I intend to do a much longer deep dive into this high art film. Don't do what these two guys did. You really don't. You don't want to do that. You are just begging for trouble. I mean, of course, this is just a movie, so they get away with it with flying colors, and the hitman's like, I'm crazy because I knew he was dead, but I saw him walking around. So in the end, it's like Bernie's dead. He's in the gurney, and it rolls away, and it's a hilarious. I mean, this is a real human being, and he dies. This guy dies. I think any loss of life is tragic. I mean, okay, he was trying to order the hit. All right, he's a bad guy. Well, you know what? Does that make it okay what they did? I don't think so. I don't think even it's like, let's say I was they didn't even know that he put the hit out until a little bit later. So their behavior is just, you can't condone that. That is just bad behavior. Just one last final note. If you are going to do something like this with a dead body, which I would never, don't you dare do it, because I'm not telling you to do it. And if you do it, that's on you. If you are going to do it, have the courtesy, have the decency, and the consideration for your fellow man. Clean up the duty and the pee before you start dragging this dead body around with you to various parties and other wacky adventures. And then once they're clean, at least you won't be bothering others. At least everyone will be able to tolerate what is happening a little bit more. So that pretty much wraps it up. And I'm going to make a longer exploration to Weekend at Bernie's, just so we can kind of wrap our heads around it. And also, more importantly, what I have to do, and I just can't believe this exists. There is a Weekend at Bernie's too. I know nothing about Weekend at Bernie's 2. So I don't want to know any spoilers. I have no idea what I'll be walking into, but you mark my words, I'm going to cover Weekend at Bernie's 2, and we're going to just see how much worse it can get. And it's a sequel. They're literally doubling down. So be on the lookout for that Weekend at Bernie's 2 video. And also look out for the extended Weekend at Bernie's 1 review. This is more just about the pee and poo following Bernie's death and who cleaned it up. And, as we said before, I guess Tina was the closest to doing it. But, Vil.